Hey, Cenk, whatever, because Cenk, I believe you're in California. Whatever marijuana you're smoking, I want you to share with the rest of us, because you are out of your mind.
Problem.
Donald Trump is an unpopular president. Are you freaking bananas? Have you seen the rallies?
You live in a bubble,
You're
Vinny.
delusional. And Cenk, you're gonna go down in history.
You can't read
when
numbers.
People see you, bro, and I actually like you, Cenk, I actually like you a lot, and I'm being genuine. I wish you would have. If you're better than Kamala, you're better than Joe. I'm being honest with you. But Cenk, you're gonna go down as that guy when people see you. That's the guy that just hates Trump.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Leftist Losers Show, where we point out all of the losers of the left. And today, I got another clip from the Piers Morgan Uncensored Show. Now, Piers has been having some pretty interesting panels as of late, and he just the other day had a host from the PBD podcast. That's Patrick Bet-David's podcast. If you don't know, you should definitely check them out. And Vinny was the host that he had on, along with a few other people, including Cenk Uygur. And the clip I want to show you guys is Vinny and Cenk getting into it regarding the current situation with Kamala Harris and Trump. And Vinny just kind of tears Cenk apart. Vinny's always extremely passionate, and he's pretty entertaining to watch because of that. And so is Cenk, right? So you get two very passionate people who will just go at it, and it's always a fun time. So that's why I wanted to bring this to you guys today, so you can see Vinny tear Cenk apart and kind of point out the hilarious silliness that is Cenk Uygur. And so let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Given she's been properly examined by the vetters, by the media for a number of years now, and also I would put this into play. She gets all the money, if it's her, that's been given to Biden. But she also has quite an interesting perspective, if you like, against Trump. She's the former prosecutor. He's the convicted felon. You could see that she could turn that into quite an aggressive attack plan. I mean, does none of that rock your boat?
Yeah. No, look, Kamala Harris, if she wins the open convention, I'm perfectly happy to have her as the candidate. But she hasn't won that yet. And honestly, I got more votes than she did running for president. So I don't know how she's been vetted. She really hasn't. What does she do as vice president? I'm not talking her down. I'm just saying we don't know.
I should fact check that, but I'm pretty sure Cenk's not lying in that case. Kamala Harris did so terrible in the Democratic primary that she dropped out, I believe, before like any of the primaries pretty much took place because the polling was so bad. She is extremely unlikable. I would be willing to bet that she's just a throwaway candidate at this point. I think they just assume Trump is going to win no matter what, unless somebody takes him out or something. But I think Kamala may be just a throwaway. They're just hoping that she'll lose it and they won't waste any other Democratic candidates on this current election.
Nearly enough. And I don't want to fall into the trap that you guys are obviously setting. You guys are all Trump fans. So you're like, yeah, pick Kamala or maybe Hillary Clinton. Yeah, that's a great idea. No, let's pick the strongest candidate.
I'm not a Trump. Hang on, Cenk. I'm not a Trump fan. People say to me, "You want Trump to win? You're a Trump supporter." No,
come on,
I have known Trump. Listen, let me set my stall. I've known Trump nearly 20 years. I get on very well with him personally, albeit we have a few rocky patches. But the bottom line is, I don't have a vote in this race. I'm a British citizen, not an American citizen. I've never told anyone to vote for Trump. And I'm as critical of him as anyone. I've been incredibly critical of Trump, as well as not being afraid to praise him when I think he's right. And for example, if you can't look at the way he responded to being shot and praise him, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, and I praise him for that, of course, because I have eyes and ears. And you know I'm reasonable and I'm honest about all these things. But are you guys being real? I mean, this whole idea of, Donald Trump can't be beat, he climbed like 9 points after the assassination attempt and barely got to 40. He's one of the most unpopular politicians of all time. This lunatic conspiracy theory that the Democrats would want him assassinated. Are you crazy? We want him as our opponent. He's like the weakest candidate possible.
Well, it's no coincidence. Cenk, it is no coincidence
Cenk, come on,
that on the day that Biden finally threw his white flag up was the day that there was a poll saying that Trump was now 7 points ahead in Michigan. That's a depth changer. But
no, Piers, you know. Wait a minute. No, Piers, you know that I've been saying for a year, and I've been saying it on this program, that Joe Biden was definitely going to lose. He had a zero chance because he was so deeply unpopular and his favorabilities were so low. And I was trying to snap the Democratic voters and politicians out of it, and you're welcome. I did. Having said that, that's not because Donald Trump was so popular. I'm saying almost anybody could beat Donald Trump. He's one of the three most unpopular people who have ever run for president.
Something that Cenk Uygur has to always push with regards to Trump being unpopular is that he doesn't take into account the media constantly pushing craziness and calling Trump Hitler into the fact, right? So something to think about. We've been lucky enough to have, I shouldn't say lucky because it's been awful the last 4 years, but the country's had the opportunity to see what 4 years underneath the Trump administration was like, and then 4 years under the Biden administration. And while COVID split that in half and kind of messed things up a little bit, there's a stark contrast. You could even go back even further because Biden's admin was basically just Obama's third term. The contrast between Trump's term and Obama's term, or Trump's term and Biden's term, and you see the stark difference, right? You can easily see the type of stuff that Trump was able to implement, like getting a lot of the permits for oil drilling and stuff, which drastically decreased the cost of energy and vastly increased, the economic powerhouse that was the United States. You can see those things and then look at it and go, okay, how the hell would I want to vote for another Obama term, essentially, when everything has been awful in terms of the economy under both Obama and Biden, and Trump comes in there for 4 years and gets us moving again, and the only thing that stopped that was COVID. And COVID was, we already know, came out of a lab, right? So it's crazy. It almost makes you wonder, did they do that on purpose because America was starting to come back, and the global powers, maybe they don't want that to happen, right? Because they want to implement, some kind of global world, country of some kind, or global world community. So the U.S. becoming extremely strong again when we're already at the top, that's not what they want. But I don't know. That's jumping down another rabbit hole, but it makes you wonder, right? Like it's always interesting. Cenk can't give Trump any credit with regards to how his economy was going, and he's not allowed to be popular in any way, shape, or form. While the poll numbers are lower, 40%, but on the Republican side, after everything that happened, and after losing an election, he's still at that popularity level. And the fact that he's still taking over the party and MAGA's taking over as the primary coalition within the Republican Party, I think that shows that he's extremely popular. He has extremely devoted fans at the very least.
The problem is
but you're missing my point.
The other two against him, Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden.
Right, but you're missing my
so
point.
Just pick someone else and we'll win easily.
Well, hang on. Let's talk over each other. The point, Vinny, the point I would make, just before I let you respond to that, is that it's all very well, but we all know the election comes down to a few swing states, and Michigan is absolutely key. The Democrats have to win in Michigan, really, to have any chance. And to have a 7-point gap announced on Sunday morning, that is why I think Biden was basically told by the grandees of the party, you've got to stand aside. He was going to get flatlined.
But Piers, of course,
hold on.
that's
Piers,
not the only stat.
First of all, whatever, hey, Cenk, whatever, because Cenk, I believe you're in California. Whatever marijuana you're smoking, I want you to share it with the rest of us, because you are out of your mind.
Problem.
Donald Trump is an unpopular president. Are you freaking bananas? Have you seen the rallies?
You live
Cenk,
in a bubble,
you're
Vinny.
Delusional. And Cenk, you're going to go down in history.
You can't read
when
numbers.
People see you, bro, and I actually like you, Cenk. Cenk, I actually like you a lot, and I'm being genuine. I wish you would have, if you're better than Kamala, you're better than Joe. I'm being honest with you. But Cenk, you're going to go down as that guy when people see you. That's the guy that just hates Trump. That's what kind of an existence is that?
I can read numbers.
And let's be honest. The Democratic Party, hold on, Cenk. The Democratic Party, let's be honest. What are you guys doing? Look at your top picks. Kamala Harris, Gavin the Snake Newsom, Hillary Clinton, Pete Buttigieg, Gretchen Whitmer. What do you guys have? At least the other side, mind you, I'm not a Republican, but I am voting for Donald Trump. As at least Vivek Ramaswamy, they have people that are energetic, that love this country. The other side is ridiculous, man. Like, what are we talking about?
I think Vinny makes an absolutely fantastic point, right? And it's something that we've been pointing out for literal years at this point. And when I say me, I just mean everybody on the right or anyone who's not a Democrat. Even Democrats, actually. I think people actually on the grassroots side of the Democratic Party have been asking this as well, but they aren't given a choice. I mean, you look at what they're trying to do with the primary system. The Democrats don't want regular people to have a voice, and who gets picked for their leaders, it's just whoever's the establishment's pick, right? That's why they love the fact that Biden's not dropping out until after the primaries. But anyways, that's another tangent I'm not trying to get on. The point I'm trying to make here is the Democrats never put anyone forward that has any ideas to push the country forward or talk about how great America is. I mean, Joe Biden will get up there and give speeches about how awesome America is and his little rah-rah speeches, but there's no substance behind them. None of his actions, none of his legislation, none of the legislation of his party, and none of the actual people behind those moves are ever pushing the country in a direction of prosperity or towards greatness. They all talk down about America and how we are the evil of the world. And yes, while America has done terrible things around the world, just like any other country, the fact remains that our culture as Americans and the ideas that we tried to push forward or tried to push forward are of greatness and of prosperity and of the best, the greatest rights that any humans have been able to enshrine in a document the world has ever seen. And I think that it's incredibly sad that the Democratic Party only pushes forward candidates that pander to victims and look to essentially just give free handouts to maintain power. And then we wonder why no one's inspired by the Democratic Party, right? That's why they have to fearmonger. That's why Trump has to be Hitler. That's why he has to be the most evil thing in the world, because when the Republican Party has people like Vinny said, like Vivek Ramaswamy, who are incredibly inspiring and are very good at speaking and riling up a crowd, it's terrifying to the Democratic Party and the establishment because they don't have that. They don't have that star power. They don't have that ability to motivate the American people. And the reality is it's because they're not actually trying to push forward anything that would rile up or like motivate the American people. They're not. They're looking to basically manage a decline as they want to implement a global power. They want the U.S. to not be the central focus of the world anymore. They want the liberal economic, form to be the centralized government or some kind. I don't know exactly what they'd want, but you can tell that what they really want is all the governments to basically come together like the European Union so they can manage everything and control everything. Because that's at the end of the day, it's all about power, and that's what they really care about. And American cultural individualism and stuff is in their way, which is why I think they push so heavily against patriotism and stuff in the United States, and they try to label it as Nazi or fascism when patriotism for the United States is literally what beat the Nazis and the communists, during the Cold War. But whatever, it is what it is. But let's continue to let Vinny tear Cenk Uygur a new one.
Like, it's unbelievable.
Guys.
By the way, I was in New York, Piers. I was in New York with Patrick Bet-David. We were there on a little vacation. And you think New York, a lot of Democrats. You should see the amount of Donald Trump hats that I saw. And even after the assassination attempt, after the freaking coup attempt,
Vinny, I'm in New York, and I've seen it. And not only seen it, I've been amazed anecdotally how many people are telling me they're going to vote Trump. Way more than I can ever remember in New York. So, Cenk, I'm not sure you're right about this. I felt in 2016 that many people were missing the Trump train. I'd been down in Middle America and I could feel it roaring away, and I could feel intense dislike for Hillary Clinton. And I got to say, I'm feeling it exactly the same again now. And it's been, I think, a result of several things. The debate debacle, where Trump managed to conduct himself by Trump standards in a very smart way. He was pretty measured most of the time. He allowed Biden to effectively hang himself on live TV. Then the response to the assassination. And now I think he's coming out with all guns blazing, pardon the analogy, given what happened to him, but literally using what happened to him to fuel a sense that he's the strong guy in the room, that the Democrats have never looked weaker. They've now had their leader had to stand down, and they've got a completely... in Kamala Harris, if it is her, someone who, if there's just going to be a like-for-like comparison, many Americans will go, you know what, Trump seems a stronger bet here. And that's the problem for the Democrats.
And Pierce is absolutely right with this, right? I'm going to interject my opinion before Cenk jumps in here. He's absolutely correct in terms of being the strong man in the room. The stars have absolutely aligned for Donald Trump. And I hate saying that because of what happened to him on that Saturday a couple weeks, or a little over a week ago at this point. But the reality is the Democrats, like we were talking about in the last time I spoke, was they don't really have any candidates that are inspiring. They don't have anyone that's up and coming that's a rising star. All they have are Democratic governors like Whitmer and Gavin Newsom, who have ran their states horribly and have been tied up in scandal after scandal, with Newsom almost getting recalled. The only reason they couldn't recall him is because he was able to rile up the Democrats in California and convince everyone in that state that would vote for him that Larry Elder was apparently a black white supremacist, which is insane, but they were able to do it. And that's the only hurdle that I see for Donald Trump at this point is the media, right? The only thing left at this point standing in front of Donald Trump in the White House is the fact that the media has been calling him Hitler for so long, and whether or not enough American people are terrified of him to vote against him for anything. That's what really matters at this point. If Trump can overcome the anti-election crowd that I think was the cause of him not getting in the last time, then he's going to win. Because the Democrats don't have anybody. There is nobody on their roster that is inspiring or that motivates people to go. I don't even think Michelle Obama would win at this point. I don't. I think people look back at the Obama years and realize they weren't that great. And I think with Biden basically implementing the same policy, I think enough people realize that her being in there would just be another Biden term. And I think people don't want that because of how terrible things have gone. And not calling him not the strong man, I think Pierce is exactly right. I think he is the strong man in the room. And you look at the fact that he can look back at his record and point out the fact that Russia didn't invade anybody. There were barely any wars. The only conflict that popped up in the world was the conflicts that were residual from Obama's terms that Trump had to handle, and he did. He took out an Iranian general who was basically propagating terrorism throughout the Middle East, and that drastically affected that. And then he also squashed ISIS, and he did that effectively. And he was getting ready to pull us out of Afghanistan, which Biden completely effed up. Or his leaders effed up on purpose. Who knows? Or they just, who knows? We won't know at this point. They're not going to release those documents for a long time. But we can all see what the result of what happened. And I think it's a great point. I think Trump has the stars aligned right now for him. And if he can overcome the crowd of people that don't want him just because they're convinced he's Hitler by all these media pundits, then he's going to win for sure.
How do you get away from the fact that when he was shot, Trump did this in an act of defiance, and a lot of Americans went, wow, that was ballsy. Even Mark Zuckerberg called it badass.
Yeah, Piers, I called it badass. And in 2016, right around this time, I said Trump would win. So what I have is apparently an ability to read numbers that is just missing in Washington, D.C. So Joe Biden's numbers were pathetically low. They were in the 30s. He barely even got into the low 40s ever. But Donald Trump's numbers are terrible as well. They're usually hovering around the high 30s, low 40s. These are terrible numbers. You guys can use all the anecdotes you like. And Vinny, brother, I got respect for you too, even though you say crazy conspiracy theories. I get it. We're both populists. We want the right thing for the American people. But you're in a bubble, brother. Just because you love Trump and everyone you know loves Trump doesn't mean that the country does. 55% of the country hates Trump. We just have to put a non-establishment candidate up and we'd win easily. But of course, again, Democrats panic and go, whoever's the leader, I'm going to support. Okay, just hold on. If we pick someone who won in Kentucky, for example, we'd win in a crushing landslide. The country doesn't want to vote for Trump. It's in the numbers. Get out of your bubble.
But check, just really fast, Piers.
Hang on.
Go ahead.
Vinny, I'll come to you. I want to play a clip before I come back to you. This is a clip where Trump was at his rally in Michigan on Saturday, and he came up with this phrase about people attack him for wanting to attack democracy, and that he himself has now taken a bullet for democracy. Because I thought that was a really powerful moment for Trump in this whole race. Let's take a look.
They keep saying he's a threat to democracy. I'm saying, what the hell did I do for democracy? Last week I took a bullet for democracy. What did I do against democracy?
Yeah, it's hilarious that the hypocrisy of the Democrats is not like blatantly obvious to everybody, and it's frustrating. They are the party that, remember, did not allow Joe Biden, or lied, constantly gaslighting the whole country that Joe Biden was completely capable to be the president, even back when he was running for the first time to become president in 2020. But even now, instead of making him drop out, or having him drop out, or pressuring him at the very least to drop out before the primaries, so that way there could be some semblance of democracy on their side, or regular people would get the opportunity to vote in the primaries for a new Democratic leader. Instead, they gaslit everybody all the way up to the debate. The debate went terrible for him, there's no way, if these people are real and actually pay attention, there's no way they thought it was going to go any other way. I think this was all planned. He, like Pierce said, his words, he basically hanged himself in front of the country as far as his campaign goes, and effectively ended his campaign right there. And now that the primaries are over, now the elites get to pick a person for the Democratic Party, which is hilarious because at the same time, the Democratic Party has always had a system of superdelegates where no matter who votes, the superdelegates still are the ones that decide who the nominee is for the Democratic Party. There's no democracy in the Democratic Party. It's extremely, the hypocrisy is insane. It's absolutely insane, but whatever, they'll keep pushing these ideas.
I mean, Vinny, there are a few more powerful things for a presidential candidate to say than I took a bullet for democracy.
Oh,
but he didn't.
Like I mean, Cenk. Let's and Cenk. With all due respect, I mean, all this in love with Trump. It's beyond Trump, brother. It's what his message is what he stands for, Cenk. Since the 90s, brother, late 80s, he loves America. He puts America first. This guy, people like you that hate Trump, you never hated Trump. You were taught. You were brainwashed to hate Donald Trump. That Trump derangement syndrome is real. All this, we're in love with Trump. I'm the same as Piers. I never liked Trump. When he was on The Apprentice, you're fired, it was annoying. But the message and seeing what they've been trying to do to him and what they're actively trying to do is ridiculous. And just from Piers, from everything that they've done, destroying his name, the court, the money, the fake impeachments, everything, to trying to kill him What else is left? And he's still up there. He's campaigning. He's making jokes. And by the way, and I love this word, this democracy. I'm sick and tired of this democracy, okay? When you're in school, Piers, in the United States, you pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. We're a republic. We're not a democracy. And every time the Democrats try to put somebody up, Bernie Sanders, RFK, you guys eat your own. So it's you guys. You guys are ruining everything. And Cenk, I'm going to say it again. You should have been running. I wish you were more popular in that sense, because to hell with Kamala, to hell with all them. We need somebody that loves his country. Piers, that's what he is. He's a patriot. He loves his country. And I'm wearing this shirt, Piers, VTmerch.com. I'm an angry patriot because we are sick and tired, Piers. I love this country. I fought for, listen, I served for this country, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let them take it away from us, Piers.
And I can't agree with Vinny more there, and I think he's exactly right. He's expressing a lot of the ideas that I've felt myself, and it's not Trump. Trump is not. It's not a cult of personality. Now there are people out there that are like that, but the reality is Trump is a symptom of the problems that the American populace has been facing for decades now. We've had way too many people in power, like the Bushes and Obamas, and now the Bidens. These political elites don't give two shits, excuse my language, about the American people or what we need or what's needed to keep the country going. All they care about is maintaining the liberal world economic power. I don't even know what to call it at this point. They're trying to maintain the American empire around the globe and the power of the dollar, and they're trying to extract as much resources for their own personal gain as they possibly can while doing so, which is why you see people like Pelosi just making oodles of money off of whatever bills they're going to pass by the stock market, the way of the stock market. And it's disgusting. And the American people are absolutely tired of it, and that's why Trump shows up. And Trump's been a Democrat his whole life, but that doesn't matter. It's the message that he pushed, that America will be the primary focus. It'll be America first, make America great again. They like to poke fun at the American, make America great again slogan, because they like to look back at the issues with slavery and everything else in our history and say, well, why you're trying to go back to that? And no, that's not what Trump meant. What Trump meant is he wanted to go take us back to a point where the American people were the focus of all kinds, not just the white people, but everybody in the country was the primary focus and beneficiary of the system, not the world. That's the problem with the Democratic Party, is every message they push is about making the world better while leaving Americans in the dirt, and they don't care about it. And then they go, oh, well, we'll hand you some safety net program to make you happy for right now. Just vote for us. We'll cancel your college. We'll give you free stuff. And then they go right back to sending all of our money overseas to other countries while Americans suffer and lose jobs. And Trump showed up and was a symptom of that problem. It could have been anybody. Anyone that could have shown up and had the star power to make their voice heard like Donald Trump would have been able to do the same thing if they were pushing the same message that he was. It's the message that resonates with the American people. Make America great again. America first. That's the message the American people are hungry for. I think even Democrats are. The problem is they're blinded by the media, who has done nothing but call him Hitler for so long. And that's the real hurdle that Trump has in front of him. He has to get over the mountain that the media has created of negativity and character assassination that they've attempted to place upon him to prevent him from ever taking power, because the elites know that when somebody who genuinely wants to make the American country a better place gets into power, they lose. And that's why they are doing everything, like Vinny said, up all the way up to trying to kill him to get him out of the way. Like Trump says all the time, I'm the one standing in between you and them, and they're really coming after you. And that's not word for word how he says it, but that's the idea that he tries to get across, right? So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this clip. I try not to interrupt it as much. I know people get frustrated with that. I really appreciate all of you guys. If you like this content, please like and subscribe and comment down below or tear me apart, whatever you want to do. And I appreciate all of you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.